in terms of the anime metaverse, so the way it works, for instance, one of the products is the Alpha Solos, and you have different games and different parts. So can you explain how it works? Because if, for instance, you have the Soulmate kind of experience with the Alpha Solos, you have the webtoons, a gallery, chronicles, and different things. So a bit of product top level overview. And of course, I suggest our audience to go to animametaverse.ai, because that's really a cool solution and a great game, and as well an NFT integration with OpenSea and looks rare.
So Anime Metaverse, we're going through the rebranding process at this point in time. Basically, Anime Metaverse, when we acquired the company, we wanted to build a metaverse, which is hence the name behind it, for multiple different anime characters. During the acquisition process, we ended up refocusing the efforts on the production side. So production means that if you take into account, let's say from a Hollywood film, right? What a producer does is that a producer manages the start to the end process of basically creating a great, let's say, movie. You find the team, you bring the team in, you finance it, you distribute everything. Same thing for us in the anime industry. We started producing anime as well as licensing very popular anime series. So Anime Metaverse became the holding company of the group as well within the anime ecosystem. And then we have the B2C arm, which is called Kasagi. So Kasagi is focused on basically monetizing the IPs that we hold, as well as distributing the anime that we're producing. Anime is a very interesting industry. If you look towards, let's say, the top 10 IPs in the world, 4 of the 6 top 10 is actually Japanese. 3 of the top 6 is Japanese. But the biggest struggle within that is usually that Japanese IP struggles sometimes to expand globally because distribution globally is a bit of a challenge. So what we realized that we have an advantage in is that we have very good contacts in the Japanese industry, which gets us access to this kind of IP licensing deals as well, original productions that we want to expand globally for that. So the soulmates that you see over there, the supernova characters that you see, which is our NFTs, those are basically access points into our ecosystem. So holding those kind of NFTs allows you to basically get access into the IPs that we are licensing, into the anime that we're producing. And eventually these characters will also be utilized within the anime that we're producing as well.
Really super impressive. So the anime industry market size is around $28 billion in 2022, and is expected to reach $31 billion this year. So from the products that you've been building and the audiences, how do you make the bridge between Web 2 and Web 3? Because you are touching NFTs, you're touching gaming, and you're touching as well different audiences. So how do you look at this bridge between the anime, because of course it's one of the most dynamic industries, as you mentioned?
So one of the biggest challenges is that you can't. So I mean, in the early days, right, we tried to force a Web 2 brand to Web 3 or force a Web 3 brand to Web 2, and I don't think that works. The challenges there is that there is a core audience base that already understands the nuances of the IP, and making a big change like that can disrupt the community and the fan base, which we don't want to do. So instead, the approach we're taking is that we are licensing very strong IPs, those as very globally renowned. Example, one is Zero Experiment Lane, which is a cult iconic anime in Japan. And we are starting to sell merchandise around this. So the merchandise is tied towards NFTs that is basically token backed. So as you buy a physical good, you get an NFTs attached to it. So slowly we're able to bring a few audiences from Web 2 into Web 3, and then bring them to have an experience within Web 3 that they enjoy and that they stay there. So that's basically the bridge between the Web 2 and the Web 3 components. But I do think that all of this is very new and very nascent. So there'll be a lot of changes that are going to happen along the way. I think today, at least, the route towards it is having a connection between the physical items. Because one of the biggest challenges is that when I want to look at my NFT collection, right, which is entirely digital based, there is no connection to it into the physical world, which means that my physical time and my digital time is separated, which I think should be joined together.
And do you think that, especially right now, for the young generations, one of the things I realize is that, for instance, if you look at most of the, at least in terms of benchmarks, the number of users, especially for Metaverse direct platforms like Roblox Direct, is around 1 billion people per month. If you look at Roblox alone, probably getting 50% or 60% of the market. this kind of immersive experience and platforms are going to be growing massive. But I think the challenge is that we can actually get a lot of this immersive experience with AR, VR, with the licenses and all the things of Web2, and as well with innovation that comes out of the Metaverse. So how you see the innovation part of the Metaverse included in the anime world and market, but as well with the young audiences that you're targeting?
I think that even before thinking about things like the metaverses, right, I think that there's a lot of these kind of things that existed for a long time. Whether I think that you think look towards games, right, like Fortnite, MapleStory, Minecraft. These kind of like experiences are basically similar to Roblox that you have today, and they're like much more advanced versions than even some of the metaverses or most metaverses that you actually see that call as the metaverses at least today. These are just immersive experiences in their own right. The difference between that and a metaverse, I guess, is the economy that's to be created. A game is an internal economy, right? And a metaverse is meant to be an external economy, whereby whatever you do there can be translated to something of fiat value. In terms of how do we bring AM to that state, at this point I'm not sure yet, but this one I think LiquidX is more advanced in that. So LiquidX in this case, we want to build a lot of infrastructure companies. And what we are particularly interested in is finding like entrepreneurs with this kind of vision. Because we know that as an individual, right, we have a limitation in how many ideas or what we can execute upon. So instead of just executing upon ourselves and our own ideas, we are trying to partner with very aspiring entrepreneurs that maybe need a little boost in terms of tokenomic designs, in terms of like development, in terms of aspiring partner. And instead of that, we fund them for them to grow their own next venture. And we think this is the way to solve the next frontier instead of doing everything ourselves.